If you're a senior computer science student and you're just going into your freshman year, sophomore year, even junior year, and you have a goal of going into the industry and getting a software engineering role, machine learning engineering role, something along these lines, then this video is for you. I'm Sean. I'm a senior computer science student and I just landed a machine learning engineering position. And I wanted to make this video as a guide, kind of a help for you to reach that position that I have gotten to. And I want you to do exactly the same. So the reality is that you cannot do the bare minimum. I've seen it a lot with many, many people. I've seen people graduate and be stuck looking for jobs for months and months and months, and many of them still haven't even gotten anything. And truthfully, a lot of people go into research, getting a master's or a PhD, not because they really want to pursue that, but because it's kind of a delay to get into where they really want to go. And there is this tension when you're pursuing an industry job, because it's difficult right now, especially difficult now, and it's only seemingly getting harder and harder as AI grows and as hiring changes over time, and with all of these things, it's getting more difficult. And so many people are just going straight into research. They're doing their master's, doing their PhD, and then in the hopes of, after they finish that then they can then go into what they're really interested in doing, which is joining into the industry. Unfortunately, though, all the skills that you need for a big tech job don't necessarily come from research experience that you do. And I can say this firsthand. So likely, if you're a motivated student, you're going to get into research projects with professors at your university. And if you already haven't, then you definitely should be getting some experience within your undergraduate degree. Of course, ideally, you land an internship at some company, Amazon, Google, it doesn't even have to be big, but some kind of real work for a company is the most ideal. But especially at a mid-sized university, that's easier said than done. And I will say I could have gone more into it, but right there in front of you are these research opportunities, and that's up for you to just grab as long as you show intent in wanting to learn it. And these professors will take you and you'll do work with them, and it's great. I mean, you gain skills, you learn to communicate on these weekly calls, and get the work done you need to get done, and you learn all technical skills, but it does not directly translate to an industry job. And so I found that when, I think it was senior year, start of senior year, I started applying to jobs after I graduate. And I said, I'm not doing research. Like, I don't want to do a master's. I don't want to do a PhD. I want to just get into a field where I can actually contribute and make a change to people and make a change in a real job environment, And so the issue that I ran into is I only had research experiences, which maybe look good on paper, but in reality, I didn't have something to show, like I improved this thing by X amount, or I did this direct implementation. It was very simply like I tried this thing, and because these research projects were pretty short, you try something and either works or it doesn't. And for me, a lot of it didn't work. I didn't have any research publications or anything either. And so I got stuck in this position of I don't have any real industry skills. I just have research projects I've worked on, which show something, but it doesn't show any kind of hiring manager that I can actually go and do the work that they want me to do. And so this is where you need to make a change. And so if you're in this position, or you realize you're getting into this position, because again, it's great to do these research experiences as a first introduction into doing this kind of work. But if your goal is really to get to the industry, then pursue it. Don't go into research just thinking and waiting out that it's gonna all get better, because all that's gonna happen is you're gonna be left behind by those people who do go and pursue industry. And so break out of that trap. Do what you really want to do. And if research is your thing, then do research. But yeah, I would suggest really go and do what you want to do. And so here's the next thing. To do that, if you want to go in industry and you have research experiences or you have no experience, you need to be building your own projects. For me, I built an AI travel assistant application. I searched up I was going all over online, conversation with ChatGPT, going on YouTube, really trying to figure out what is it that the companies actually use. And you'll find they use cloud computing. They all use AWS. Everybody. You have things like Docker, Kubernetes, very production environment, you can say. And so you start learning these skills. I started learning these skills in one of the summers. I didn't go and get an internship. I didn't go and do another research experience. I put all that to the side and I said, I'm going to work on what's actually necessary for an industry job. And so doing that, I built this application, and this was the biggest thing on my resume that interested every recruiter that I talked to, every interview I had. This is the thing they were interested in. They were not interested in any of my research experiences, really. Maybe it sparked a little interest, but nothing to the point where they're asking questions more about it. And so definitely build your own project. And I didn't do this, but even more ideally, if you can show that you actually helped somebody or somebody used your app and actually had benefit from it, then even better. In my case, it wasn't this way. It was just something I built to learn these skills, and it ended up being of interest. But if you, for example, go into some company's office, maybe a hair barbershop, right? And you talk to the guy and say, hey, how is your online booking system right now? Ask them questions, as if they're a real customer, which you'll be doing in, a software engineering role. What's going on? What can I build for you? What's your problems? And you take those problems, you translate them into a software solution, and you build that thing for them. And if you can say you really helped this person with a real issue, then that's huge for you, And if there's one thing I would have done before getting this role, it would be that, and even still, I would still do that. Maybe I should take my own advice right now. But really, it's a big thing, because at the end of the day, big tech companies are businesses, and they're looking that you can provide them with value. So the more easily you can show that you're going to provide value to their customers and therefore make them more money, then the more likely they're going to hire you, and the more likely you're going to land that role. So yeah, that's the reality. And the last thing is just to make sure that you expand your network to whatever you're trying to achieve. So in this case, if it's industry job roles, you don't want to just have your whole network as professors. Now, professors can get you into other people, which is amazing. But in terms of expanding your network, you need to use who you already have, or even just go and cold email people, and expand that network. You need to get people who are working in the industry. You need to connect with other machine learning engineers. You need to, when you apply for a job, message the people on LinkedIn in their email inbox, and you need to ask them not just, hey, I applied for the job, can you look at it? But hey, can I build this relationship with you? I want to talk to you. I want to get advice about the career, what you're doing, where it's headed, and get on calls with these people, talk to them. There's going to be somebody who wants to help you. There is. And this person will either refer you, or they'll give you genuine advice, and you will take that and you will run with it, and you will get something out of it. All it takes is one person, And so you need to have these people in your network who are actually in a position that you want to be in. It doesn't make sense for just you to have all these research people in your sphere of people when you're not really wanting to pursue that. So yeah, I say all of this just out of giving advice from my experience. For anyone that has questions, for anyone that just wants to say hi or anything, I will put my LinkedIn in the description, and you can just send me a message there, and I'd be happy to respond.